Disturbing trend we've seen. Fentanyl deaths have skyrocketed in recent years. And 2 years ago this week, 3 people in New York City died from an overdose of the drug. They all bought the drug from the same dealer. Their family still looking to come to terms with the loss. On the eve of the anniversary of their deaths, an emotional warning about drug dangers and new details about a rare conviction in the case. Here's 7 News Side investigative reporter Dan Kraut.
This isn't a story about overdoses. It's a story about poisoning people with drugs laced with a hidden substance. It's killing people in record numbers, including 3 people by the same dealer on the same day.
I just miss her.
3 families.
It's just changed my world.
Brought together.
Julia's an amazing girl.
By unexpected grief.
How can you believe something like that has actually happened?
26-year-old lawyer Julia Garamani, banker and soon-to-be father Ross Matangi, and social worker Amanda Scher didn't know each other in life, but their families are helping each other cope with their deaths.
I don't want other parents to go through this. It's just a horror story, and we have to be more aware of it.
Back on March 17th of 2021, police say the 3 victims texted the same drug dealer, Billy Ortega, asking for cocaine. His delivery man dropped the drugs off at each one of their places in New York City. They all died a short time later.
My daughter didn't die from a drug overdose. My daughter was murdered.
It wasn't just cocaine they were ingesting. It turns out it was also fentanyl, a highly addictive and dangerous man-made opioid. Even a tiny amount can be deadly.
How much did they find in what she took?
What she actually had, we're told, was almost all fentanyl.
Almost all of it.
That's what we were told by the police.
Charging drug dealers in death cases is rare. Prosecutors have to prove the dealer knew what was inside the drugs. In these cases, there's digital proof. Before the drugs were delivered to the 3 victims, police say Ortega received a text from another client, a warning. I gave most of my last bag to my buddy, and he just called me this second to say he ended up in the hospital last night and that he had to get a Narcan shot.
9 minutes before he told his delivery guy to bring the drugs to Julia, he knew 100% that this would kill her.
Police say the same batch of drugs were then dropped off at Matangi's New York City hotel room and then to the apartment of Amanda Scher. The dealer continued to call and text after delivery.
And the dealer said, try not to do too much because it's really strong. But she never responded.
Right.
What was that like to hear?
I would like to say to you that it was horrifying, but the horror already happened.
Later that night, after Ortega stopped getting responses from the 3 victims, he turned to another customer, this time another drug dealer.
After he killed 3 people, he texted another drug dealer and said, oh yeah, I have a batch that people are saying is too strong. Why don't you take it and give it to some girls? LOL. Freaking LOL. You know, so they don't care. He doesn't care.
A lot of people call these overdose deaths, and you're saying we need to change the way we describe these. That's not what this was.
No, overdose is the wrong word for what happened to Julia and to Ross and Amanda. They bought cocaine. They thought they had cocaine, and it wasn't. It was fentanyl.
It's not how they want their children to be remembered.
Some good has to come from this.
But they hope their deaths prevent a similar tragedy from happening to other families.
I hope people listen, because this is real. And this is real, awful, never-ending pain.
Ortega will be sentenced this spring. He's facing 25 years to life in prison, and he's just one dealer. Every 3 hours, someone dies of drugs in New York City alone. Most of those deaths are fentanyl related.